Hello everybody, I hope you're doing so well. It's meatball day here in our house. We're going to be cooking Swedish meatballs. I have never cooked these before, so this will be a journey for the both of us. But if we take it step by step, I'm sure it'll be just as splendid. I'm sure it won't be too difficult, so we're going to be getting through this together. As you can see, I have every single ingredient out that we will be needing. I will also put the recipe that we're going to be using in the description in here. So this is a very basic recipe. It sounds, I think I've never made this because it sounds more complex. A Swedish meatball, oh, I don't know. To me, it just sounds a bit much, but after reading through the list of ingredients, I realized that this is going to be pretty easy. And you can freeze these for future use. So instead of cooking everything, you can take half, you can quarter it, and throw a few in the freezer. And throughout the week, you can just take one out whenever you get home. You're going to want to take it out probably around an hour before you want to cook them. So yeah. Let's do this together. I am so excited to be here with you. I'm going to try to raise my voice a little bit louder, and I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here. Let's do this. 1 pound of ground bison or beef or chicken, whatever you have on hand. 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs. 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley. Our TikTok technique in action right here. So if you don't have a measuring device, that's okay. That's the beauty of cooking. So we're just gonna look at this as we're doing it and get about a tablespoon in here. 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice. Be careful, this is a very potent spice, so you don't want to use a whole lot of this. If you don't have a measuring device, again, that's fine. You're just going to want to put a little bit on there. And that's a perfect amount right there. 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Again, this one is pretty potent again. So again, if you don't have a measuring device, that's okay. You can just go over your first little layer of allspice there. Cover it up. Boom. 1/4 teaspoon. Our recipe calls for 1/4 cup of a finely chopped onion. I chopped half a cup of an onion because we like onions. So if you want to do 1/4 cup of onions, or if you like onions like we do, you can add a bit more onion. Give the onions some love here. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. This recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Salt is something that I will always stick to the recipe for, and even go a little bit less, because there are so many people who need to watch their salt intake, and so I want to be very careful with our salt measurements here. And so I just have our 1/2 teaspoon measurement out here. Open up our mouth here on the salt. Remember, as we're bringing it out, we want to level off that salt with the spoon there. Boop. And last for this portion of our recipe is our egg. If you cannot afford an egg, that is fine. You do not have to put an egg in here, and just leave that part out and you can go ahead and start mixing at this point. But if you do have an egg on hand, boop, plop them in there. Out of pure laziness, I don't want to dirty a spoon, and my hands are clean, so I'm just going to mix this up with my hand. sure you get into every little corner there so everything gets mixed up really well. That's the beauty of being able to use your hand. You have total control of what you're doing. After you have your hamburger, bison, chicken mixture all mixed up, you can go ahead and preheat your stove now. You're gonna wanna turn that on. Let's put that at a little less than our medium setting. So if you have a low, medium, high setting, go ahead and put it right below medium. And if you have the number setting, go ahead and put it on 4. So once all of our ingredients are incorporated, we're just gonna start dividing these off into little nuggets. I don't want to keep saying balls, so I'm just gonna say nuggets. Get your nuggets rolled up. And this one, let's make him a little bit smaller, and that's in terms of cooking. Now you want a nice even cook on these, and the thicker you make them, you have a higher possibility of these not cooking evenly. You'll get one side that's burned and one side that's not quite cooked all the way, and just because you'll want the center cooked nicely. So that's a good size right there. So these meatballs are about a 1/4 cup in size. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So once we've gotten our meatballs all rolled up, if you are going to be eating noodles with this meal, you can go ahead and put on your water. Otherwise, you can have it with plain white rice. If you put on your rice right now, it will take 20 minutes to cook. 1 teaspoon of olive oil. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And if you have a little block of butter, it actually has the measurements on here for you. Ooh, that means our pan was just a little bit too hot. See, if you notice the butter starting to turn brown, take it off of the burner. You don't want your butter to burn. So while it's off the burner right here, I can start placing my meatballs in here. And place it back on the burner here. Just move all that around just a little bit. Even distribution here. At this time, if you have a cooking screen, you can go ahead and put it over your food. Since we're having our dinner with noodles tonight, we're gonna be setting our burner up here to 6. So if you have a low, medium, high setting, just right above the medium setting. Our setting is still at 4. We haven't turned that up any. But with our meatballs, we want to make sure that we're continuously turning them so they get a nice, even brown on all sides. If you're going to go tanning, you want to make sure you're even. Okay, so we've let our meatballs cook on all sides evenly-ish. Not perfect, you guys. I'm sorry. I won't even pretend to be perfect. But they're looking good. Good enough that we can take them off and put them on our plate for right now. We're going to set these to the side. Sorry. Okay, take your pan off of the burner right now. Don't turn your heat off just yet. To your pan back here, you're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. So 1, 2, 3, about 4 right here. A little more butter won't hurt anybody. 3 tablespoons of flour, whisk these items together until everything turns brown. Oh, I guess we could put it back on our burner now. This is where all of your flavor comes from. When you're cooking anything and you're getting the bottom part of something that was already cooked, you're getting a lot of flavor. So we can see that some bubbles are forming in the center here. That's showing us that the pan is heating back up. So since everything is starting to get incorporated, we start adding, this is 2 cups of beef broth. And what I actually use is, give me one moment, better than bouillon. This stuff is amazing. If you can manage to get it, I highly recommend it. So slowly start adding in our broth there. See how that's thickening up? You want to hurry up with your whisk. And by adding flour in here, it's our thickening agent. But you want to hurry up. While this is cooking, we can actually lower our temp to 3 right now. Whisk, 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 whisk. Don't stop, don't stop. That's how those lumps get in there. We don't want any lumps. See, that's turning into a nice, nice gravy there. And keep adding that in slowly, little by little. Okay, and I'm also going to start adding 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Shake this before you try to get any in there, otherwise you'll just get a bunch of liquid. Yeah, everything's incorporated. Now that we don't have to worry about anything clumping, we can actually raise our temperature again back to 4. Okay, our sauce is starting to simmer. Lower again to 3. Our water's starting to boil. Take off the lid. I'm using egg noodles. It doesn't matter what brand you get, but there will always be cooking instructions on the back if you are afraid of how to cook them. They're there for you, so just go ahead and follow those. And you serve yourself based on how hungry you are. So we can still have some left over. We don't have to cook the entire bag because that will be plenty for us for tonight. At this time, we're going to add our meatballs back into our sauce. Yeah, it has a funny little skin, but that's okay. That won't last. If you're worried your meatballs hadn't cooked fully up until this point, the sauce will then cook them through if you leave them in here a little bit longer. Whenever you put your noodles in, make sure you stir them around a bit. Otherwise, you'll get one big noodle. All right, and we can tell our noodles are ready whenever they turn a lighter color than they were originally. So we can go ahead and turn our burner off for here and off for here. All right, everybody, all in all, that didn't take too long. The longest part was probably the prep for the meatballs, but you could get this done in probably 20 minutes. And if you have the meatballs previously frozen, it'll take you even less time as well. This is the final product. I added a little bit more salt, probably 2 teaspoons. That was probably a solid tablespoon of salt, and then some pepper as well. The sauce is delicious. I've never had this before. I'm really excited to see what it tastes like. So I hope you all enjoy. And if I can give an update after this, I absolutely will. If I don't, have a great day. Have a good weekend. I hope you're well and stay safe. Oh, are you still recording? Okay. You could please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. It makes it so I'm able to cook more stuff for you guys. This was by request on Reddit. So that individual, I will be sending you the video for this, and I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe. Everybody, if you can also please like and hit that little bell icon so you're notified whenever I come out with a new video. Thank you so much again, and take care.